A billionaire CEO took his girlfriend out for dinner. But when he saw his ex-wife pregnant, the restaurant was glowing with soft lights, laughter floating across the tables. Daniel Gray, the 38-year-old billionaire CEO of one of the fastest growing tech empires, walked in with his girlfriend, Clara, draped elegantly on his arm. Everyone noticed him. People always did. He had the kind of presence that made heads turn, not just because of his wealth, but the quiet authority in the way he carried himself. Tonight was supposed to be a celebration, a rare evening away from the chaos of boardrooms and billion-dollar deals. But then he saw her. Across the room, at a small corner table, sat his ex-wife, Emily. She wasn't alone. She looked radiant, but not in the glamorous way Clara did. Emily was glowing with the unmistakable beauty of a woman carrying life within her. Her hand rested gently on her round belly, her eyes sparkling as she laughed with a friend. Daniel froze. His chest tightened. Memories flooding in, memories of late night talks, dreams they once shared, and the painful silence that eventually ended their marriage. Clara followed his gaze, her smile faltering. "Is that?" she whispered. Daniel nodded, unable to speak. For the first time in years, the man who controlled entire industries felt completely powerless. The waiter seated them. But Daniel's mind wasn't with Clara or the expensive wine poured into crystal glasses. He kept glancing toward Emily. Then, suddenly, her glass slipped from the table. It shattered, and as she tried to bend down, she winced in pain. No one moved. People just stared. Daniel was on his feet before he realized it. He rushed over, kneeling beside her. "Emily, are you okay?" His voice trembled, and for a moment, it was as if the years between them vanished. She looked up at him, startled, then softened. "Daniel, I'm fine. Just clumsy." But she wasn't fine. He could see it. Her breathing was shallow, her hands trembling. Without thinking twice, Daniel signaled his driver. "We're going to the hospital." "Now," Emily protested weakly, embarrassed, but Daniel helped her up carefully, steady and protective. Clara watched in silence, confusion and hurt in her eyes, but even she couldn't deny the raw sincerity in the way he looked at Emily. At the hospital, Daniel didn't leave her side. He signed the forms, paid the bills without hesitation, and when the doctor finally came out, relief washed over him. "She's stable," the doctor said. "The baby is safe. Stress and exhaustion, nothing more serious. She needs rest." Daniel let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. He walked into her room quietly, and Emily looked at him with tired but grateful eyes. "You didn't have to," she began. "Yes, I did." He cut her off gently. "I may not be your husband anymore, but that doesn't mean I don't care." Emily's eyes welled up. "Daniel, it's not your responsibility." "Maybe not," he said, his voice low, "but kindness doesn't need a contract. You gave me years of your life. You stood by me when I had nothing. I will never stop owing you for that." For a long moment, silence filled the room. And in that silence, something shifted. The bitterness of the past seemed to fade, replaced by the simple truth of two people who had once loved each other deeply. Hours later, as Daniel left the hospital, Clara was waiting by the car. She had seen everything, and for once she didn't speak with jealousy or anger. Instead, she placed a hand on his arm. "You did the right thing," she said softly. "That's the kind of man you are." Daniel looked at her surprised. Clara smiled faintly. "Love isn't always about possession. Sometimes it's about showing up when someone needs you most. And tonight you reminded me of that." Driving home under the quiet glow of city lights, Daniel realized something. Life wasn't about wealth, status, or even winning back what you'd lost. It was about humanity, the small choices to care, to be present, to act with compassion even when you don't have to. That night, he didn't feel like a billionaire. He felt like something far more valuable, human. And sometimes that's the greatest fortune of all. Moral of the story: true wealth isn't measured by money, but by the kindness and compassion we offer, especially to those who can no longer give us anything in return.